Imagine Lebanon in 2018. 5 people live in Beirut. They don't know each other. They have similar incomes, between $3,000 and $4,000 monthly. They're all educated, all employed in respectable professions, all middle class by any definition. They all believe they've built something secure. They all have families depending on them. They all have mortgages, car payments, school tuition. They all think the same way about money. Earn it, save it, invest it safely in institutions. They're accountants, teachers, engineers, business managers, consultants. By every conventional measure, they're equally positioned. The currency hasn't collapsed yet. The banking system still functions. Life appears normal. Then, over the next 4 years, something extraordinary happens. One of these 5 people maintains a functional life, maintains income, maintains dignity, maintains options. The other 4 lose almost everything. They lose savings. They lose jobs. They lose homes. Their children's education stops. Their futures disappear. The difference between the one who survives and the 4 who are destroyed has nothing to do with how smart they are. Nothing to do with how hard they worked. Nothing to do with luck. Let me show you who each of these people is, and more importantly, what each one believes about money, institutions, and risk. Meet Sophia. She's 48 years old. Works as an HR manager at a multinational company in Beirut. Her salary is reliable, approximately $3,500 monthly. She's been employed there for 16 years. She has a mortgage on a modest apartment in a decent neighborhood. She has 2 children in private school. She has a car payment. She has a life insurance policy. She contributes to a pension fund managed by a government-approved administrator. Her financial philosophy is straightforward. Earn money, save money in a bank, invest in government bonds, trust institutions to protect you. Sophia believes completely in the system. She believes the government wouldn't allow banks to fail. She believes the central bank exists to maintain stability. She believes regulations protect depositors. She believes her pension contributions are secure. She reads the official statements from the Ministry of Finance. She listens to economists on television who assure everyone that the banking system is sound. When friends mention concerns about the currency or suggest moving money to foreign accounts, Sophia dismisses them as paranoid. She thinks that's the kind of thinking that creates problems. If everyone panicked, there would be a real crisis. The responsible thing is to trust the institutions. So Sophia keeps her savings in Lebanese banks. She keeps accumulating pension contributions. She buys government bonds because financial advisors recommend them as the safest investment. She does everything the system tells her to do. She follows every rule. She listens to every expert. She trusts completely. Then, in 2019, the banking system begins to fail. The government imposes capital controls. Depositors can't access their dollars. Banks force conversions from dollars to Lebanese pounds at artificial rates. Sophia's bank account, which showed $150,000 on paper, becomes functionally worthless. Her pension fund, which she believed was protected, is frozen. The government bonds she purchased are in a currency that's losing value rapidly. By 2023, her purchasing power has declined 90%. Her job has been eliminated because her employer has left the country. She's trying to survive on a pension that's worth a fraction of what she was promised. She did everything right. She followed every rule. She listened to every expert. She trusted the system completely. And the system destroyed her. Sophia did everything the system told her to do. And when the system failed, she had no alternatives. Meet Marco. He's 45 years old. Works as a civil engineer for a construction company in Beirut. His salary is stable, approximately $3,800 monthly. He's been in his position for 12 years. He's aware. He reads news. He pays attention to economic indicators. He notices things. In 2017, Marco begins to see warning signs. The Lebanese pound is weakening against the dollar. He hears discussions about banking problems. He reads articles about capital flight. He notices that inflation is accelerating. He thinks something seems off. Maybe I should move some money to a foreign account. Maybe I should convert some of my savings to dollars. But then he hesitates. He thinks, the government says it's temporary. The central bank says everything is under control. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe this will stabilize on its own. Maybe I should wait and see how it develops. So he delays. He plans to act eventually, but not today. He tells himself, I'll do it next month. I'll give it a few more weeks to see if it stabilizes. He's reassured by official statements from the Ministry of Finance. He reads an economist's opinion that the situation is manageable. He talks to a colleague who says, don't worry, these things always work themselves out. You'll look foolish if you panic and nothing happens. So Marco waits. He keeps his money in Lebanese banks. He keeps his savings in Lebanese pounds. He delays converting to dollars. He delays opening a foreign account. Months pass. The warning signs intensify. The currency continues weakening. But Marco still thinks, it will stabilize. I'll act if it gets worse. By late 2018, it has gotten worse. But now Marco decides to act. He goes to his bank to open a foreign currency account. The bank tells him capital controls have been imposed. He can't move money. He can't convert to dollars. He can't access his own funds. The window has closed. Marco saw it coming. He knew something was wrong. But he waited. And waiting cost him everything. The difference between this person and the next is timing. One recognized the pattern. One recognized it but waited too long. Meet Elena. She's 50 years old, owns a small consulting business in Athens. Her income varies but averages $3,200 monthly. She's been running her business for 18 years. She's financially aware. She reads economic analysis. She studies history. In 2009, when Greece's sovereign debt crisis becomes public, Elena recognizes something. She's studied past currency collapses. She understands the three-stage pattern. She sees the warning signs: government debt unsustainable, central bank unable to stabilize currency, capital flight beginning. She thinks, this could become serious. I should position myself before it becomes obvious. So Elena acts. She's not panicked. She's not paranoid. She's simply recognizing a pattern and positioning systematically. She converts approximately 30% of her euro savings to dollars and opens a bank account in Germany. She purchases some gold coins, approximately 10,000 euros worth, and keeps them in a safe deposit box. She buys a small property in Germany through a real estate company. She moves approximately 40,000 euros to her German account. But Elena doesn't fully reposition. She still has 60% of her assets in Greece. She still has her primary residence in Athens. She still has her business operating primarily in euros. She's hedged, but she's not completely repositioned. She believes some assets will survive in Greece. She doesn't want to abandon her country completely. When capital controls are imposed in 2015, Elena has options. She can access her German account. She can sell her German property if needed. She has gold that can be converted. When Greek banks freeze deposits, she's not devastated because significant assets are outside Greece. But she still loses. Her Greek business becomes much less valuable. Her Greek real estate is difficult to sell. Her Greek pension is cut significantly. She loses approximately 30 to 40% of her total wealth. But unlike Sofia and Marco, Elena maintains a functional life. She has income from her business. She has assets that weren't frozen. She has a residence in Germany she can access. She can feed her family. She can maintain dignity. She survives with significant losses but with options remaining. Elena did better than most because she understood the pattern and acted early. But she still didn't do everything she could have. She still maintained too much exposure to the home country. She still believed some assets would be safe that weren't. There's one person who understood this completely. There's one person who did. Meet James. He's 52 years old, works as an accountant for a mid-sized firm in the United States. His income is reliable, approximately $4,000 monthly. He's been in accounting for 28 years. He's educated. He reads. He follows economic news. He's aware that collapses have happened in other countries. He studies the Argentine collapse of 2001. He reads about Cyprus in 2013. He knows about Greece's crisis in 2015. He knows about Lebanon's banking system collapse starting in 2019. He acknowledges these events happened. He acknowledges they were serious. But he believes something crucial. His country is different. His institutions are stronger. His system is protected. He thinks, that was Argentina in 2001, not America in 2024. That was Cyprus with its small banking system. Our banks are far more sophisticated. That was Greece with its government corruption. Our institutions are more stable. That was Lebanon with its weak central bank. Our Federal Reserve is the most powerful in the world. James maintains a belief in American exceptionalism. He believes the dollar is permanent. He believes American banks won't fail. He believes American institutions are too strong to collapse. So he doesn't diversify internationally. He doesn't buy gold or hard assets. He doesn't develop skills outside of accounting. He doesn't maintain relationships outside his professional network. He doesn't position systematically because he believes positioning is unnecessary. He believes he's protected by virtue of being American. He believes exemption exists. Every person in every collapsing country believed exactly what James believes. Germans in 1920 believed their institutions were strongest in Europe. Argentines in 1998 believed their currency peg guaranteed stability. Greeks in 2008 believed European institutions would protect them. Lebanese in 2018 believed their banking system was the most sophisticated in the Middle East. Zimbabweans in 2006 believed they had natural resource wealth that ensured stability. All were wrong. All believed their country was different. All believed exemption existed. All were destroyed when exemption proved false. James will be destroyed the same way if collapse comes, because he made the same fatal error, believing his country was exempt from patterns that applied everywhere else. Every person in every collapsing country believed they were different. They were all wrong. There's one type of person who didn't make that mistake. The richest person in the world loses everything if they don't have this. The poorest person survives if they do. It's not money. It's acceptance. Sophia trusted that systems are permanent. She believed institutions would always function. She believed rules would always protect her. Optimistic Marco believed disruption was temporary. He acknowledged warning signs but thought they would resolve. He believed the window to act would remain open. Early mover Elena hedged her bets. She positioned partially. But she didn't fully accept the pattern as inevitable. She believed some assets would be safe in her home country. She still maintained faith that some institutions would survive. Selective denier James believed exemption existed. He acknowledged collapses happened elsewhere, but believed his country was different. He believed his system was stronger. He believed he was protected by geography and institutions. The survivor, the fifth person, accepted something different. The survivor accepted that no system is permanent. The survivor operates from an assumption of breakdown, not from an assumption of stability. The survivor isn't paranoid. The survivor doesn't predict when collapse will occur. The survivor doesn't live in fear. But the survivor positions systematically because the survivor believes the pattern is inevitable. The psychological shift is fundamental. It moves from, the system will always work, to systems fail. I should position for that. It moves from, it can't happen here, to it happened everywhere. Why would here be different? It moves from, I'll act when warning signs appear, to I'm acting now because warning signs always appear too late. Financial positioning requires mental positioning first. You cannot act on understanding you don't genuinely believe. The survivor believes the pattern is inevitable. The survivor doesn't try to time the collapse. The survivor positions for any scenario. The survivor accepts permanent uncertainty as the baseline. Every generation believed their system was different. Every generation was wrong. The few who survived prepared systematically. The many who lost prepared reactively, too late. Understanding the mechanism is necessary, but it's not sufficient. You also need to accept something most people cannot accept, that the system you depend on will fail eventually. And when it does, having position becomes everything. Which of these five are you? Because which one you are determines whether you'll have options when the pattern arrives. Type 1, the institutional believer, operates from a belief that systems are permanent and safe. Sophia represents this type. She concentrates all her wealth in the formal system: banks, pensions, bonds. She dismisses warnings as paranoia. When the system fails, she's destroyed. She has no alternatives. She followed every rule perfectly and lost everything. Type 2, the optimistic denier, operates from a belief that disruption is temporary. Marco represents this type. He sees warning signs but waits too long to act. He thinks the situation will stabilize. He plans to position eventually, but delays. By the time he decides to act, the window has closed. Capital controls are imposed. He's destroyed because he waited. Type 3, the early mover, operates from a belief that the pattern might happen eventually. Elena represents this type. She hedges partially and acts early. She converts some assets to dollars. She buys foreign property. She positions before it's obvious. When collapse comes, she survives with significant losses. She loses 30 to 40% of her wealth but maintains options. She survives with a functional life. Type 4, the selective denier, operates from a belief that the pattern happened elsewhere, but not here. James represents this type. He acknowledges collapses in other countries but believes his country is exempt. He doesn't position because he believes positioning is unnecessary. He's destroyed when exemption proves false. He made the same error every generation has made. Type 5, the positioned survivor, operates from a belief that no system is permanent and the pattern is inevitable. This person positions systematically across multiple dimensions. This person converts some assets to foreign currencies. This person buys hard assets. This person develops skills with portable market value. This person builds relationships outside formal institutions. This person maintains low debt. This person acts before it's obviously necessary. When collapse comes, this person maintains a functional life and options. The critical realization is this: types 1 through 4 all fail for different reasons, but they all make the same fundamental error. They don't position systematically. Type 5 succeeds because positioning is systematic. Success isn't about predicting when collapse happens. Success is about accepting inevitability and positioning accordingly. The question isn't which type you are. The question is which type you want to be. Because that choice, made now, determines which type you'll actually be when the pattern arrives. Right now, you're one of these 5 types. The collapse won't tell you which, but your positioning will. The 5 types aren't fixed identities you're born into. They're positions you take through choices made today. Sophia became an institutional believer through years of trusting systems completely. Marco became an optimistic denier through repeatedly choosing to wait. Elena became an early mover through deciding to act on pattern recognition. James became a selective denier through believing his country was exempt. The 5th type became a positioned survivor through systematically accepting that no system is permanent. Every person reading this is currently one of these 5 types. Most are types 1, 2, or 4. Few are type 3. Fewer still are type 5. But the distribution can change if people choose differently. The positioning framework is simple. What assets do you hold? This reveals visibility to government. Where are they held? This reveals geographic diversification. Can they be frozen or seized? This reveals access risk. What would you have left if formal systems failed? This reveals resilience. Do you believe this pattern applies here? This reveals mental positioning. You don't need to predict when collapse happens. You don't need to be paranoid. You don't need to hide in the woods. You need to position systematically. You need to accept no system is permanent. You need to act before it's obvious. This channel doesn't predict futures. It dissects patterns. The pattern has repeated in Germany, Argentina, Venezuela, Lebanon, Zimbabwe, Greece, and dozens of other places. It's repeating somewhere right now. The question is whether you'll position like someone who understands the pattern, or whether you'll be destroyed like someone who didn't. That choice is yours. That choice is now.